Welcome everyone. Thanks for joining. This is our second GovReports webinar of 2026. We're going to learn all about the new features that we've created in the last 6 months in GovReports. My name is Tony. I'm the Sales and Partnerships Manager here at GovReports. I want to thank everyone for taking the time out of their busy day to join us and learn a bit more. I'd also like to say apologies for anyone that got a reminder that this is going to start at 4 o'clock. We're not quite sure why that was. We've checked the system. My reminder came and said 5 o'clock. So if it was one of you, we do apologize. Not sure what's happened there. Okay, so this is, as I said, the second webinar of a series of webinars we've got coming up in the next few weeks and months. So be sure to check out our website, govreports.com.au/webinar to see what else is coming up. Now today I have with me the amazing Deborah Thompson from ICB. She's a BAS agent and a technical presenter. We've also got one of the GovReports founders, Tiana, who many of you might have met. She'll be here to give us some support today as well. Before we kick off, I just want to give you a little bit of history of who we are and what we do, just in case you're not sure. Many of you are probably already GovReports customers, but many of you might be thinking, who are these guys? So I'll just give you a quick rundown. We've been around since 2010, and basically what we do, we build a cloud-based tax lodgement solution. We think it's the best one on the market. We fast forward all the way to this year, 2026. We've actually got about 4,000 clients all around Australia using GovReports, and those clients range from people like yourselves, BAS agents, tax agents, also individual businesses, big and small. So we might have some small business owners using us. We've also got some quite large businesses with sort of complex franchises and setups, stuff like that, using this as well. So we're pretty spread across the space. So that's a little bit about us, and just a little bit of housekeeping before I do hand over to Deborah, who will present this webinar. We won't be able to hear you today, but we still would love your questions. It's much better to have I guess, a two-way webinar than just a sort of a monologue. So you'll probably see on the top right-hand corner of your screen, there's a little questions thing with a little question mark on it. Feel free to pop those questions in as we go. So if they do pop in your head, just type them in. We're going to endeavour to answer them as we go. If we don't get a chance to do it as we go, we're going to try and allow some time at the end for a Q&A just to wrap all those up. And if we don't get time at the end, you know, we can speak offline. So no stress. We'd rather more questions than not enough. I think that's about it from me. So I'm going to hand over to Deborah now, and she'll take you through the new features of GovReports.
Thank you, Tony. Hi, everybody. It's wonderful for you to be here. Thank you for attending. So I have the agenda up on the screen because there is so many new things within GovReports, particularly over the last 12 months. There may be things that have been there sort of almost 12 months ago, but perhaps you haven't yet looked at them. So what we want to do today is to show you all these different things that you may find to help your work process, because that's what it's all about. It's about making your life easier and the system just working for you. So let's begin. So the first thing is, I'm sure you're used to this screen, seeing this when you log into GovReports, and what you will find is that everything is pretty easy and logical to look when you look around. The first thing I'm going to talk about is ATO Insights. Now, it is on this main screen. If you go to the bird's view up here, then when you click on it, you will be able to see the ATO Insights. And if you are a tax agent that needs to have the online on-time reporting info, this is absolutely wonderful for this. So when you click on the ATO Insights, this is the screen that comes up, and it is showing you for income tax for what you've reported. So that 87% is basically telling you that how many of the returns that you need to report, 87% of them have been reported. So it's giving you the information for the ones that are on time, late, due, overdue, that sort of information. So it's really great for you to see that. Obviously, when you start the year and the ATO throw them all in, you might have low statistics. But as you go through the year, you will see that figure growing as you are actually lodging the things that you need to. It also gives you FBT lodgement, which is again great. So the same sort of information, that online on-time information shown there to give you for your FBT. The other thing it does is that also shows you the ATO client communication. There are other ways to find that, but if you do have the ATO or you use the ATO Insights, it's a wonderful thing to do. So it shows you all of the communication with your clients that the ATO has sent. And so it really keeps you on top of that and hopefully makes it easier. You can view the communication, or you can actually email the clients more information or reminding them that they need to take care of something. So again, you can go to that client communication from the sidebar where it has the ATO reports under there. That first one is the ATO client communication. Either way gives you the real-time information, and that's what's really excellent. This is real-time data, and GovReports syncs with the ATO twice a day, so you know that you are getting the latest information when you are looking at this information. So when you look at the client communication, it gives you all that information, and that anything that has been sent to the client via paper, via email, however they've received it via a digital agent, that sort of thing, all of that is in there in date order, and you can open it. You can open it, you can email your client with that again to remind them of what they need to do about it. You can archive it if it's just, yeah, okay, that's fine. And it allows you to really keep on top of that information with the client. So when you go to email them, obviously, if the client information is in your system, it will pop up. I'm actually just obviously using screenshots. It also gives you the report, and you have the facility of putting a security code on it. So again, you can set it with a security code, or you can have no security, depending on what the information is, because again, it may have the TFN, depending on what the communication is. So you can make sure that you are sending it under security. On an practice level, again, it's very important these days for us to be able to change users' status and their permissions of what they can do, because as practices may use somebody from overseas, you may want to limit what they can do. Or if you have juniors that are allowed to do a couple of things, but they're not, definitely not allowed to lodge, or they're not allowed to prepare tax documents or BASs, those sorts of things. So at the practice level, if you go to your authorized users, again on that side toolbar, it comes up with the active users, and you'll see there's a new button on there, which when you want to create a new user, it's very simple to do that. Put in their information, their email address, and select the role. And there are 5 types of role within GovReports. The principal, of course, who's the owner, who gets to see everything. And that is naturally, whoever's first registered with this software, they're the principal. But you also have partner, lodger, preparer, and a custom. Now, the partner obviously is any partners that are in the practice. The lodger, you may have a separate person who is responsible for lodging all of the documents. Then you also may have a preparer. So you may have more junior staff who prepare the documents ready for the partner to authorise and then for the lodger to use. And then you also have this custom level. So this allows you, again, if you do have people perhaps overseas or juniors, where you can decide what they're allowed to do and what they're allowed to lodge and see. So when you have your your users, again, if you click on the users, they will then, a screen will come up where you can actually see all the documents they've lodged, whether they've got drafts that are valid, ready for lodgement, what clients that they're working with, and if there's any job set up or any billing setting set up in the system. And you can definitely look at all of that information. And when you want to alter their permissions, you'll see that the screen, if you use the whole, the whole size of the screen, because it's quite big, you do have the little 3 lines where you can click on that and you will see that there is a user permission. You can also deactivate the employee if you want to. You can reset passwords, and you can archive that information. So all of that's available to do. So when you click on the permissions, this is what comes up, and depending on which user type they are is what you'll see. So if they're a partner, a lodger, or a preparer, this is on the left-hand side, the account preferences. This is what you will see. So you can make sure, that they can download clients or set up their Google Authenticator, or lock clients so that whether they can use them or not. So all of that is available for you. If you want to set up a custom employee, then this gives you that little bit more information where the forms that they're allowed to use or you want them to use, you can actually select, and also with the clients, you can select the clients. So maybe perhaps, it's a new employee, and when you first put them on custom, you just want them to work with 2 or 3 clients so that you get to know how they work, and you can make sure that, you're managing the documents. So that's really great, that user permission, particularly if you are building your practice and employing new people. So then if we go and look at the things within the lodgements. So again, when you go to your sidebar, there is, obviously quite a lot of things. And again, you may not have used them before. So I do encourage you to have a look around if you do have the time. I know that's not always easy, but to get to know that there may be something there that you really find helps your process, because it's all about these days about making that process simpler and easy for us to, do the workflow the way we like to. So here, if we're going into My Clients, which is, I'm sure, a place that you spend a lot of time in when you go into GovReports, is if you look that there is Manage Tags. Now, with the tags, you can set up all sorts of tags. You can, here I've picked monthly IASs and quarterly BAS. So again, you can identify the clients into certain ranges. Again, what your process needs it to be. And there are 2 tag uh, labels that you can pick. One is the manage tags, where you can set up the tags, which is what the bottom screen is, where you can set them, you can add new ones, you can attach clients to the tags, and obviously you can open all of those from that screen. So there might be all sorts of ways that perhaps, you have clients that are in a franchise, and so you tag them like that so that you can get them all at once together, whatever suits your process. So in this instance, I've gone into Manage Tags from the Manage Tags tab, and this is what I see. I can click on the tag that I've got, and then it comes up with all of my clients that are linked to that tag. And then again, if I don't go through Manage Tags, I can go to My Clients, and you'll see that there is a little tag on each of the clients. And if it's colored in, then you'll find that it is a particular tag, so you can click on it and get that information that way. So in GovReports, there's always more than one way to do something. I would generally say that's what I find. And so it makes it easier. Again, what's your workflow? You like to click on the sidebar, you like to click on the top toolbar. You can use all of those things to make your life easier. Then other things within My Clients, when you click on a client, you can go to outstanding reports and you'll see that there is a sync button there. You don't actually have to go back out to the main screen and then sync everybody. If you go into one client and think, oh, you know, what's happened? There's nothing there synced. You can just do it from there. You don't have to exit out. And you can obviously also disable that facility if you don't want to use it anymore with that client. One of the best things, I think, for definitely tax agents, I'm sure this is absolutely a wonderful bit of information, that when you prepare a lodgement and it is actually lodged, you will find the lodgement receipt has a lot of information. It has that information. You'll see the bottom where I've got the red around it, is that it gives you the timestamps of what areas of the ATO it has actually been sent into. So if, for example, there's some issue that's how we don't have it, you have this proof here to say, well, this is the time, the date and the time that this went into those different areas. Now, obviously, the ATO know what those areas mean and would be able to find that information. So it's a really great information to have if there's any queries about that. Personally, I really like that. The BAS agent currently isn't quite as detailed, but it still does have the information. Then the other information that you can get with a lodgement history is their history. What has happened? And you'll see the overview is that first screen that we're looking at, and then the history. This particular one only has one transaction, but every time somebody touches this client and this statement, it will be lodged on here. So if somebody goes in and changes information, it will give you the date, the time stamp, and who it was. If they send an email to the client, again, all of that sort of information will appear. So there's quite a couple of places within GovReports that is going to give you that information, and it's really wonderful, because then you know what has been happening, particularly if you do have a big practice with a few people working. Then things can get lost once you've got sort of more than 5 people working in the practice. When did it happen? Who did it? And this is going to give you all of that sort of information. Another great thing that I really like and have just discovered from doing all of this is the signing status report. Now, if you currently use GovReports digital authentication and you send out the documents for signature and clients sign it through there and comes back, then it automatically comes back under this sign status and says whether, if it's been sent out, it says pending signature, and then once it's been signed, the information is there. However, if you have clients, and I do have a couple who don't seem to be able to cope with it and still print it out, sign it, and email it back to me, or if you have some other way, maybe the clients have come into your office and they've signed the documents, that you actually now can put your own sign status on there. So you click on there, it gives you the option of what ones are set up, and you can manage that. And for example, here we've got to be reviewed, out to sign. So this is all about knowing where every client is in the status that you're trying to make sure, all the dates. We're coming up to the 3rd of March, which of course is going to be make sure every BAS is done. And this is the point where we go, what's been finalised, what's been ready for lodgement, what's had that signing. So this is a really great benefit, particularly if you don't currently use the GovReports digital authentication. Well, I believe it is anyway. So I found it very useful. Another thing, again, and all of the things that, well, not all of the things, but a lot of the things that I've noticed that have happened over the last 12 months within GovReports has been helping us with our workflow, because everyone has their own way of working. And depending again on whether you're a sole operator or whether you do have 5, 6, 10 people within your practice, then the workflow changes as you get more people. And one of these things is folders, that you can put all of your saved reports into different folders, and you can define them, whatever suits you. You can have them in the partner's name. You can have them say, Fred does all of our lodging, so you can have a folder for Fred. And then once the partner has looked at the document and said yes, because somebody else has prepared it, yes, I'm happy that can now be lodged, you can be moved into Fred's folder, and then Fred knows what work he's got to do. Or again, you may have that, it's more or less done, the BAS is more or less done, but there's just one thing that you're waiting for. So you can have a folder that says awaiting for info. So all of these things are meant to suit you. You make the folders be the best that suits your business. And really it's about usability for your practice. So you can have many, many, many folders if you need them. You can have all of your partners. You can have just a waiting for information, that sort of thing. There's also scheduled lodgements and locked reports. So that is also part of it. So with the folders, again, you can have, if you've got a partner that's AS, you can have what he's pending, what he's got to do, and then when he's finalised it and he's finished with it, for it to be sent off to the next person that needs to do something. So again, it's a really great way of defining, what everybody needs to do. Easy place. They all go to the same place to look and see for their workload. So when you look on the left-hand side, you go into the saved reports, you will see that there is the plus sign. So that's where you add your folders. The one that looks like a disk is all of the saved reports that aren't in any other folders. Then you've got the folders. Then you've got the clock, and that shows that if you've scheduled any lodgements, and then you have the locked clients. So again, this is all meant to be used for your benefit. So for example, with the saved reports, this is where you're going into those, because where you normally go in to lodge a selected form or delete a form, but you can also move it to a folder. So this is where you move it to a folder, or this is also where you can schedule a lodgement. Now, why would I want to schedule a lodgement? Perhaps you know that the client isn't going to get you the signature until next Monday, which again, you can make sure that you schedule the lodgement for the 3rd of March. Or perhaps they don't have the money and they've said, well, don't lodge it yet. Again, obviously we take instructions from our clients, and so it might be useful to do that. So the schedule lodgement, you can also schedule all your work for 3 o'clock in the morning, so you don't have to think about it. It's going to happen at that time. So that is a great benefit, especially in a big practice where you may have, 20, 30 lodgements, every sort of day, every day. Also, when you go into the schedule lodgements, it's going to show you all the clients that are there and when they're ready for lodgement, and you can, of course, still remove them from the schedule, or you can reschedule. So again, if your client goes, well, I'm not going to be, I can't do it today, give me a week. So again, you could put that in there. So it obviously is about making sure that you are using what best suits your business. With the locked reports, why would we want to lock a report? Well, perhaps you have it all ready, it's almost ready, and the client says, well, I just need to get you one more thing. And you want to make sure that nobody changes what you have already done. Or another reason that you may lock a report is if you have sent it out for signature and the client hasn't yet signed it. If someone goes and they want to look at it, so I come along and I go, I just want to look at this client. And what I do is I hit the edit button instead of just looking at the report. I have messed up, and it does tell you these days that, this is going to upset what you've already done, and it will, upset that, so you need to then send it again to them for signature. So again, you can lock the reports so that if they're just waiting for the lodger to come in and do that, they can come in and unlock it before they send it. But it is just it's just again a way of helping you work how it suits you. And again, obviously, when you hit the lock button, it does come and say, do you want to lock this report? It gives you that option. So again, it's just for protection. If it's a very important document that you definitely don't want anyone to touch, it gives you that facility to lock it. You can also, with a lock, you can also set a passcode on a particular client. So again, if it's a client that you don't, you have a few, again, people that don't necessarily need to be looking at this client's information, you can set a passcode on the client, and you can have the passcode so that when you go into it under your login, it'll just open. But if it's somebody else, then they need to know the passcode to actually get into that. Now, again, that just depends on your client base. And again, you don't need to use it, but it just gives you that extra bit of protection and security. And of course, you can, when you open when you want to go in there and open the client, again, unless you've told it to forget about you, but if somebody else comes in, this is what they see. You'll see that there's a little lock there, and it comes in, and they've got to put the passcode in there to unlock the whole client. This is not just a document, but the whole client. Whereas the lock that we looked at previously is just about a document. So again, it just gives you that facility to choose either or. There is also an Intel extractor, again, which is under My Lodgements, under the saved reports down the bottom, you'll see, and it gives you a way of sorting clients. Now, if previously, it was only for individual tax returns. So for tax agents to use if they had individual tax returns. It's now been extended to all tax returns, where you can get the information for your clients in previous years and then use that information to contact clients. So if, for example, you had a rent, you only wanted to know your clients who have rental schedules. So you would be able to pick that, which is just here, and it will then give you all of that information. So again, you might use that for marketing purposes, or you might use that for something like the ATO has come out with a new directive, and you want to make sure that those clients in particular know about it. So maybe it was a change to the HEX debt. And so you are able to come in here and look at a previous tax year, pick everybody that had whatever it is that you want to make sure that they know about it. Or maybe you want to tell everybody about their depreciation worksheet, that this is what standard you're expecting, or this is what information you need for the end of year. So it's a great way to use that for marketing as well as sorting out your clients. Now, Tony, is there any questions you want to deal with at this point, or shall I keep going?
We have had some questions come through. Looks like Tiana's been answering those, which is great. But while we might just have a little, 30-second pause. And if anyone does have any additional questions, feel free to pop those in. I know there's been a bit of info already come through, but if you do have questions, just pop them in. We'll just give it a few seconds, and then we might resume.
So, Tony, is there anything that I've mentioned today that you sort of want to have a different, spiel about, or different point of view?
No, it's been great. It's been great. Like I said, there's so much new coming out, and we got a look at the roadmap last night, and there's just so much more for this year as well. So I'm just happy that we continue to build out and we continue to add features that our clients want.
And also you've had a webinar this week already, and that's really been for tax agents, or lots of information for tax agents in that webinar.
It was, yeah. We had a webinar on Tuesday specifically about ATO insights, which you touched on, and also a brand new feature called ATO checks. And for any tax agents on the line here, ATO checks it's a post lodgement service where you can now see the status of that lodgement, when you're going to get refund, how much refund you're going to get back, what stage it's up to with the ATO. So it's very, very powerful stuff for accountants if they, at tax time, they've got a lot of clients chasing them up. Am I going to get my refund? When do I get it? And there's a whole bunch of stuff in there that is quite amazing. So yeah, that was we will also put that video up on our website. So on our website you can see, apart from the upcoming webinars, you will be able to see the existing webinars we'll put up there. I think it might be up there already. So if you're interested in ATO checks, check that out, or just let us know and we're happy to give you a demo.
And can I mean, again, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I also believe one of the advantages with GovReports is that all of that information is included in the package. You don't have to pay anything extra because you're getting that ATO insights.
Yeah, yes and no. So ATO insights. So with GovReports, there's a few different versions. If you've got let's say, for example, the enterprise version, if you're a larger firm, you will get ATO insights included. On the smaller firm side, you won't get it included, but the advantage is that you can buy that separately. So if you're using a competing lodgement solution, you're like, oh, look, we just don't want to change. We're happy with what we've got. You can still purchase ATO insights separately and use that, which is awesome. On the ATO check side, we're still sort of finalising the pricing around that. So I can't speak too much on that, but we'll let you know as soon as we've got that done.
Well, thank you for that. I shall carry on now then, if you're okay with that.
Thanks, Ted.
So there's some BAS and IAS new lodgement forms. So again, this is particularly speaking to all the BAS agents. I'm sure the tax agents are aware of it. But with the BAS lodgement form, when you go into your forms to select it, if you're still seeing this button that says new version, what you will find that you can still look at the old version or you can get the new version, but it is coming so that the new version is going to be your alternative. But definitely I would encourage you to try that new version because it is going to make your life much easier. So when you first click on that new version, it does come up again with a new screen that you probably haven't seen before, where it's like the previous one where you can pick the dates that you're looking for forms, and it gives you that information. It's really great. I like the coloured buttons that tell me whether it's been prepared or whether it's started, that sort of thing. Again, just making it easier for you to identify information. And then when you click into the form, I haven't actually got the top of the form there because obviously I don't want it with people's names and information. But what it does for this, for if you're doing the IAS for the PAYGW, then what you will find that it is pre-filled. So again, that STP information that you are lodging, and of course you can do STP through GovReports, but however you're lodging your STP, the PAYGW will come with the pre-filled information. Now, the other thing that is great as well is that if, for example, perhaps you have a pay that happens on the last day of the month, and when you go to look at this, it isn't in there, you are still able to change that information because, again, the payroll system you're using is going to be your source of truth, is where all of the information is, so you can change it. And it's not a surprise because there are genuine reasons sometimes why the ATO is not up to date, but it certainly pre-fills it, and if you're doing it within sort of the next week or so, you'll probably find that information is there. Then if you're looking at the quarterly BAS, again, you'll see here's one that I've used. I've hidden the name again, but the G1 and the 1A and the 1B is still there available. Of course, this is the simplified form for you to put the information in, but you'll see that the PAYG is pre-filled. And the same, if you have PAYG installments, again, if applicable, that is going to be filled in as well. And you have the bottom where as the agent, as I am the agent, I am declaring that's the correct information, and you have that facility of submitting it to the ATO or sending it for signature to your clients so that it comes back, and of course you can validate it to make sure you do that before it goes to the client. And so it's really great. I'm really enjoying using this new form. Now, with ATO services, I just want to mention the different information. Again, if you look, depending on, again, whether you're a tax agent or a BAS agent, you will see that there is different forms that are available. So again, there's a no lodgement advice if you need that. That's what it looks like. The PAYGI calculator is available. If, perhaps as a tax agent, the clients come back and go, oh, well, am I going to be up for instalments? And you have the easy way of actually calculating what those sorts of instalments would be. And again, filling, all out the information to get that basic information to work out what the calculator is. So there's all those things. There's under ATO services. Definitely encourage you to have a look if you are a tax agent. And this, I think, is one of the big things that has changed that I think will be great for anybody who's using it. And this is about payment plans. So when you are looking, you're clicking on the ATO accounts, providing all the tax outstanding amounts, and it gives you a report, and it even shows you the PRN, which I do know that anyone who's doing superannuation guarantee, it can be a bit of a nightmare trying to go to the ATO and getting the PRN. So this form actually gives you all of that information, gives you the PRN if there's one, and again tells you, what clients have paid and whether they have, done all the right things. So when you click into one of the categories that you're looking at, and here I've gone again because the superannuation guarantee is my big thing. I've seen that people have trouble with it, and it gives you all of that information of when there has been payments and when there's been arrears and when it's been defaulted. So it does give you all of that, makes it much easier for you to go back to the client and say, look, I just thought, I've looked at these payment plan, and just, perhaps if you want another one, you're going to have to start, making sure that you are making the payment. The other thing is, of course, here is that you can create a payment plan. So when you create a payment plan, it goes in on this one actually is giving you the details. If you click on the payment plan, it gives you all of the details of what the interest is, what the scheduled interest is, what's been happening with it, what's been processed. So you know all of that. And of course, if they pay it off, you can cancel the payment plan, or you can update the payment plan from this screen. And then again, as I said, you can create a payment plan, makes it much easier. You don't have to ring up the ATO. You can just do that from this screen within GovReports. Definitely encourage you to think about that if you do a lot of payment plans for clients. And so when you click on the Create Payment Plan, it comes up with all of the information for you to select as you go and what, the instalment amounts are going to be. Now, with the digital authentication, again, which is another screen that you go out of GovReports into digital authentication. Again, when you need things for signature, it is the easiest way. I love it. I use it for my engagement letters as well. So it doesn't just have to be for documents that you are creating in GovReports. You can add reports that you want to signatures from, and that you want to make sure that the clients acknowledge that they have seen it and supposedly read it. Again, it's for that highly confidential information, because it makes sure that it is as protected as it can be. And it, of course, comes back, gives you all of that information so that you are compliant with any reporting that you need to do for the TPB. And it just, can happen within very quickly. So you can send it to a client, remind them that they need to sign it, and you can have it back, within an hour, or hopefully at least within the week that they actually do see it. And it is included in most of the packages, I believe. So when you go into your digital authentication, as I said, you can go directly into it, or GovReports. When you have a document that needs signing, it will actually take you into the digital authentication. And you'll see that you can sync, if you set it up. If you haven't set it up already, you can sync your GovReports clients. So it brings over all of your clients from GovReports. You don't have to retype them in. And when you are using it, you can go to your settings, and again, you have that preferences settings where you can set it up so that it suits your business. So again, when you click on the preference settings, it comes up with all these different things, send a summary email, acknowledge notification. So again, and I'm sure you're used to this if you are using GovReports to sign documents, where you get emails sent back to you that tell you the client has sent, when you first send it out for lodgement, and then it comes back and tells you your clients have signed the documents, ready for you to be able to lodge. And, if you need to add attachments, you can also set up the default expiry. So, how long, once you send that and they don't sign it, how long are you happy for it to be there? And again, of course, you can always set reminders, and you can have those reminders set, specifically in, 7 days if they haven't answered you. So all of those preferences, again, to make your workflow easier. So when you're sending for signature, again, if you're in GovReports and you have saved your activity statement, when you want to actually send it for signature, you can go up to into the activity statement, and again, the 3 lines, and send for signature. That will take you immediately through to the digital information for sending. Now, this is something new too, which is great, which I've just recently found. It is where you can have more than one, signature. If you need more than one signature, or you need people to see a document, more than one person, perhaps there's a couple of partners in the business and you want them both to see what forms need to be lodged, you are able to set obviously more than one email, but you're also able to set the signing order. So for example, if perhaps you have one of the partners that you deal with and they sign everything, that's the authority that's needed, but there is another partner and they want to see it, they're not going to sign it, they're just going to see it, then you can put their email address and set the signing order and go, well, okay, I want Joe to see it first, and then I want Joe's mum to actually sign it because she's the person that I have the agreement with that signs it. So it's a really wonderful way of being able to make sure that the right person sees it. So the second person who is in the signing order, they don't get to see it, or they can see it, but they needs the first person to actually acknowledge that they have seen it, and then the second person who needs to sign it is available. Also too, I don't know if you've noticed yet, if you are sending the signatures, is that now, where previously it used to be every document that you added onto there needed a signature, you now can upload the files that are for signing, and you can also upload files that are just for viewing. So again, it means that you don't have to have, you've got 5 documents and only one of them needs signing. You don't need to sign all of those. It's very useful, I found. This is the default message template. And again, you can create your own templates. There is one, there is a couple that are already in there for the system to use. Again, the standard message, but you can actually set up, and I have set up a few, particularly as I have a different letter that goes with my engagement letter than I do with the BASs and my IASs, because I'm a BAS agent. But again, it is there. You'll also see that there is only mine. So again, make sure you only pick forms and letters from your business, from your practice. If you don't want any of the if you don't want to set up any in the template. And again, you can also pick who's the placeholder, who is going to be signing it. So again, there's different messages, as you see that I've got that advising passwords, that sort of thing, STP final event. I have a different report for that than my normal BASs that go through. And then with the placeholder, who do I want for it to be signed from? So again, if you have partners that perhaps, particular clients have particular partners that are always signing the documents, or perhaps you just have the business name. So again, you can make those choices as you go. So for each one, so it doesn't have to be just only the business signs the standard letter. So again, when you then click into the next screen, this is what you normally see, the activity statement. Any other documents are there also for you to view, but you have on the left-hand side, how do you want it signed? Where do you want it signed? What company name? What sort of information do you want on these signatures? So in this activity statement, I have just got the signature and the date. So I just want that information. But again, I can put in here where I've got it so that if I need me to put the information, if I need my signature on there as well, I can add that as well, which is really great, I find, because sometimes I think, oh yeah, I do want to just make sure that they know it's coming from me. Then also, with the fill in the sign, which is down, you'll see that there's now new areas where you can add comments onto pages of information that you need signing. You can add a radio button, a checkbox, text, drop down information. So it gives you a lot more scope for putting in all sorts of information. And then again, under that, we now have the tools. So where you want to place the signatures on all the pages. So again, you don't have to go through, if you have a 10-page document, you don't have to go through every page and put on yes, sign here, or initial here. You are able to pick all of those in one place. So you can, through here, you can just pick all pages, place the signature, this is where I want it, or place the initials, which again, probably that's more likely what you're going to do, but it makes it so much quicker to finish with the documents. And again, obviously you can reset, that sort of thing. So I find that's a great tool. So that's me. Tony, is there anything else that we want to talk about? I've just got some pictures with prices.
Yeah, nice. Thanks, Deb. Well done. We've had plenty of questions come in. So Tiana has been answering most of those up to this point. I'll just cover off a couple here.
Tony, do you want to go just that some others members here want to hear some of these questions, so perhaps we read it from the beginning and then also read the answers as well?
Yeah, cool. Good idea. All right. So we've got a question here saying there's no ATO Insights option. So again, depending on what package you've got, if you've got more of an entry-level package, you'll have to subscribe to that. And most of these services you can easily just subscribe to and start a free trial from our website. Okay, so if you want to check out that option. Now we've got, no, that one's okay. We've had a few comments about the payment plan. They can't seem to find where the payment plan is available. Did you want to clarify that one, Tiana?
Yeah, so normally, you know, we over the years, I've noticed while supporting a few clients, and I've noticed that you know, people customize their screen so it's easier to read, and I do too, and I don't realize that there's actually features and additional services that we have on the right, and if you move your screen to the right or you reduce your screen, you'll be able to see the full screen and some of the services that's all available in the system.
Great. And we've got can I edit the message templates, and where do I do that?
Yep, the message template you're talking about in the e-signature or the digital
e-sign.
authentication. Yep. So when you log into your GovReports account, on the top right, you've got the App Center, which is the 9-color dots. If you click on that, you find digital authentications. When you click on digital authentication, it takes you to the dashboard where Deb was showing you. On that, you've got a few options, one of which is message. And if you click on message, you'll be able to manage the message, whether you go in to edit it or you go in to add more, or you go into, there you go. It's, or you can actually customize the message that you see from the default, the GovReports default message, and you know, and save it. Once you save the message, it will ask you the name that you want to save it as, or you can see at the bottom of the screen when you sending off documents for the clients, you can also go in there to manage the save message. There's a few options. Also, I think we do have a webinar session next week to talk about the e-signature completely. So Tony will be happy to answer your questions on that day. It is quite, we have quite a few features in the DA, in the e-signature, not only the parts that Deb has gone through today, but also some of the settings that you can set. For example, you know, if it gets sent, you want the practice details to be sent through, or you want the staff member who is preparing and sending it through. Some of these things, it's important. I mean, if you are a sole trader, it wouldn't make much difference. But if you have a bigger practice where you have staff or you have partners, and you want those details to come through, some of these informations and who can sign, etc. Please tune in for next week's sessions, which is on a Tuesday at 5 p.m. We tend to organize all our webinars at 5 p.m. We find that's the most suitable time for our clients. But you know, you can also make suggestions for us as well for future webinars.
Yeah, thanks, Tiana. So we've had a few more questions come in about the e-signature. So as Tiana mentioned, I think we've only got a few minutes left. So I think we'll just, if you've got the opportunity to join the webinar next week, that'd be ideal. We can run you through it in detail. If not, just ping us and we can answer that offline as well. So I just want to mention that our website is full of resources. Okay, so Deb's put up some pricing there on the website. You can check out pricing if you're a tax agent, if you're a BAS agent, if you're a business, even if you're a developer. So we do have our own API services where businesses use us to sort of talk through us to talk to the ATO. All that's there. You can also start a trial of most of our products as well on the website. And probably more importantly, there's email and phone contacts there. So the phone will be obviously, you know, Australian business hours only, but, you know, email us anytime and we'll endeavour to get back to you. We do take our support pretty seriously. We we're one of the few that's actually got phone support, so we do sort of pride ourselves in that. But yeah, I think if you can attend the next webinar, we can cover off the e-signature in more detail. Well, I'm just checking my notes to see if we've got anything else there, but I think that's about it from my end. As I said, reach out to us. We're always happy to have a chat offline. If you wanted to have a demo of the product, a live demo, let us know as well. It's something we do all the time. And you can talk to us about your individual situation, what solutions you're using. Obviously, if you're a smaller firm, then it might be pretty simple. If you're a larger firm, there might be other pieces involved, practice management systems and so forth. But we're pretty up to date on all that. We've got some good integrations out there as well with some of those systems. So we'll be happy to have an individual chat about that.
Just very quickly, since we've got a few minutes left, I'll probably want to answer Michelle's and Jocelyn's questions, and Christine as well. So yeah, Michelle, you've got Michelle has put in a put in a question. How do you change a document to signed if they sign by another method? Change a document to sign. Okay, got it. Yep. So if you go to the save reports, you go to manage, and you can change the signature component, or just click onto it. If you click on to cancel the signed documents, and then you can go in and manage the sign. So you can create statuses. We will cover more of these how to next week, but the straightforward to answer your question, yes, you can. You just cancel the signed report, but when you send it out to the clients for signing, cancel that, go back to the reports, and then you can change the status. Okay, so the next questions from Jocelyn. Can a new message be saved across the practice, or is it saved only for you? So yes, you can share that across with your staff as well. And that's in the settings. We'll show you that next week. For the next session, how do you keep the date range and name of the BAS in the subject line? We'll show you that next week, Christine, if that's all right. I think that can be managed.
Yeah, and it's also worth mentioning. It's also worth mentioning that the e-signature component in GovReports, we've actually built that ourselves. It's our proprietary technology. So we do get a lot of questions around, oh, is this just DocuSign, or is this just? It's not. We've actually built our own one to cater for tax solutions. So it's a very, very powerful and good tool. We'll show you more next week.
And can I just add too that I think for our requirements for compliance for your quality management system, I think that the digital authentication and the signing is just spectacular.
Amazing, amazing. Well, I'd like to thank everyone for attending.
Yeah,
sorry, Tiana.
Sorry, Tony, there's one more question that just came in from Faye. There's something got to do with your settings, Faye. If you give us a call or send us an email, we'll just guide you through to get it set up again. If you no longer receive these, it just means you've accidentally or something has changed in your account. All good,
Amazing.
Tony?
Yep. Well, thanks. We're 5:59, so we're absolutely perfect time. It's pouring rain here in Sydney, where I am. I want to thank everyone again for taking the time to learn a bit more about what's new in GovReports. We hope to see you at future webinars. As I said, anything you need, just feel free to reach out. We're always happy to help, and hope you have a good night.
Bye.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, everyone. Have a good night. Bye.